Hey folks, welcome back to the BS Coins Wood channel where we turn pocket change into treasure maps. Today we are diving into a coin that could literally make your jaw hit the floor and your wallet a whole lot heavier. The 1973 D mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what, some of these bad boys are pulling in a cool $1 million right now. That is right, $1 million for a penny. Sounds like something out of a tall tale, but stick around, because today we are breaking it all down, and maybe you will want to go digging through that old coin jar after this. Now, before we jump into the nitty-gritty, let me tell you real quick about a time I almost gave away a small fortune without even knowing it. Picture this: I was at a garage sale a few years back, just minding my own business, poking around, when I found this old dusty jar filled with pennies for $1 total. I thought, hey, why not? I handed the lady a buck, tossed the jar in my trunk, and totally forgot about it for months. Fast forward to a rainy Saturday. I am bored out of my mind and decide to clean out the garage. That jar falls off a shelf and shatters all over the floor. I start picking up the mess, and boom, right there shining back at me is a rare penny worth thousands. No joke. Ever since then I have been obsessed with checking every single coin, so trust me when I say today's video could save you from making $1 million mistake. The D mint mark means it was minted in Denver. Now, normally these pennies are not too special. Millions were made and they are pretty common, but as with many coins, a few rare versions exist due to some wild minting errors, and those are the ones worth serious cash. In 1973 the US Mint was dealing with all kinds of chaos. They were experimenting with different metals, inflation was going crazy, and they were pumping out coins like a factory on fire. Mistakes were bound to happen. We are talking about double dies, off center strikes, wrong planchets, and crazy misalignments. If you find a 1973 D penny with a major error, congratulations, you might be sitting on a gold mine, well, a copper mine, but you get what I mean. Imagine looking at your penny and seeing everything kind of doubled up, especially the date, the words, or Lincoln's profile. It looks like your coin had one too many drinks. That is the sign you might have something special. A planchet is just the blank piece of metal the coin is struck on. Sometimes pennies got struck on dime planchets, making them thinner and shinier. Other times they used the wrong metal altogether, creating a coin that looks and feels totally different from a normal penny. A standard 1973 D penny should weigh about 3.11 grams because they were still making them mostly out of copper. If your penny weighs a little more or a little less, it could be an indicator that something went wrong at the mint, and that is what collectors drool over. Now you are probably wondering, how in the world do I know if my 1973 D penny is the one worth $1 million? Good question, and the answer is simple. First, grab yourself a magnifying glass, or better yet, one of those little jeweler's loupes. They cost like $10 online and they make you look super professional even if you have no idea what you are doing. Second, check the details. Look for doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, the date, or Lincoln's bust. Check the edges too for any weird ridges or cuts. There are a few top grading companies like PCGS and NGC that will take a look at your coin and tell you exactly what you have. If your penny is the real deal, having it officially graded can boost its value big. To me, as of right now, top tier 1973 D era pennies have been known to sell for $1 million. That is not hype, that is real money changing hands at auctions and through private sales. Collectors are absolutely nuts about high grade era coins right now, and the rare ones are skyrocketing in value faster than my blood pressure at an all you can eat buffet. And it is not just the serious collectors either. Regular folks, everyday people, are jumping into coin collecting like crazy. It is kind of like metal detecting, but with a lot less digging and a lot more couch sitting. The best part is you do not need some fancy setup to get started. All you really need is a jar of coins, some patience, and a good eye. Let me tell you another quick story, because honestly this still blows my mind. Last year one of my buddies found a rare penny in the coin return tray at a grocery store. He was just grabbing his receipt, saw a weird looking penny and tossed it in his pocket. He later found out it was worth over $5,000. It just goes to show this stuff happens. It is not just some fairy tale or something that only happens to guys on TV. This is real life, and it can happen to you too. The 1973 D Lincoln penny could be your ticket to joining the Millionaire Club if you know what to look for: errors, doubling, wrong planchets, weird weights. These are your clues. Now you might be thinking, man, this sounds like a lot of work, but let me tell you, it is way more fun than scrolling social media for the 100th time today. Plus, who does not want the chance to find $1 million hidden in plain sight? Before you go sprinting off to tear apart your couch cushions, do me one quick favor. If you enjoyed hanging out today and you want more awesome tips on coins worth big money, strategies for finding rare coins, and a few more embarrassing personal stories along the way, make sure to hit that Subscribe button, smash it gently if you must, but do not miss out. Also tap the like button if you learned something new today, and drop a comment telling me what coin you are hoping to find next. I would love to hear your stories. Thanks for spending time with me today. Good luck hunting, and remember, in the world of coins, one man's pocket change is another man's fortune. We turn pocket change into paydays. You are not going to believe what I am about to tell you, but it is absolutely real. There is a 1978 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny out there that is worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. That is right, one little brown penny that could literally change your life faster than you can say heads or tails. Before you start flipping through your couch cushions, hang tight, because today we are diving deep into why this little penny is worth more than a Ferrari, and how you might just have one sitting quietly in your change jar next to that old paper clip and a button. Stick with me, because I am going to share some expert tips, some hilarious personal stories, and a few coin hunting strategies that could have you cashing in big time. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let us get started. Alright, so first things first, what makes the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so special? Well, to answer that, we have to go back to 1978, when bell-bottoms were still a thing and disco ruled the airwaves. The US Mint was cranking out pennies by the millions, but here is the kicker: most of the coins had slight variations, errors, or minting quirks. Now, normally 1978 pennies are pretty common. You probably got one stuck in your car ashtray right now, but certain no-mint Mark pennies from that year were struck with such a freakishly rare combination of mistakes that collectors have gone bananas for them. So what are we looking for exactly? First, the penny needs to be in incredible condition. We are talking about a pristine, shiny, near-perfect coin. You want what they call a high-grade specimen, preferably certified by a top grading company like PCGS or NGC. Second, and this is where it gets juicy, the valuable ones often have some kind of error, double die obverse, meaning the lettering and date look slightly doubled off center, strikes where Lincoln looks like he is trying to escape the coin, even a rare planchet error where the metal mix is a little off. Now you might be thinking, okay, sounds cool, but how rare are we talking? Well, friends, only a handful of these have been discovered in this type of near-perfect condition and with the right kind of error. That is why the current market value for one is sitting pretty at around $1.1 million. A couple years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. He is the kind of guy who saves everything. I mean everything. We are talking old cereal boxes from the 80s, broken fishing poles, rusted out bicycles, you name it. Well, we find this old glass jar full of coins tucked behind a dusty box of bowling trophies, and you better believe my coin radar started buzzing. I started sifting through them, and would you believe it, I pulled out a 1978 penny no-mint Mark, decent condition. My heart started doing backflips. I raced home, pulled out my magnifying glass, started checking for errors and flaws. I was dreaming of that $1 million payday, right? Well, turns out it was just a regular one worth about 2 cents if I was lucky. But hey, it taught me a valuable lesson. Always check your change, because you just never know when that life-changing coin is going to pop up. First, hit up yard sales, estate sales, flea markets, and coin shops. You would be amazed how many people have old jars of coins they have not bothered to look through in decades. Second, start checking your own change. Every single time you buy something, it takes 2 seconds to glance at your pennies, and could be the best 2 seconds you ever spend. Third, if you find a 1978 penny that looks even remotely shiny or off-center or just unusual, get it checked out. Seriously, spend the few bucks to have it graded, because it could be a life changer. And here is a pro tip: do not clean the coin. Whatever you do, resist the urge to polish it up. That can actually destroy its value faster than you can say bad idea. Another little insider trick: go online and join some coin collector forums. There are tons of friendly folks out there who can help you spot a winner. People love sharing pictures, advice, even stories about their crazy finds. Also keep in mind the 1978 penny is made of copper, not zinc like modern pennies, so just the metal content alone makes them more collectible than newer coins. But the $1 million versions are the ones that combine that old copper base with minting mistakes and incredible condition. Now, what about spotting a fake? Oh, you better believe that when money is involved, scammers are too. First red flag: if someone is trying to sell you a 1978 penny claiming it is worth $1 million, but it is scratched, beat up, looks like it got run over by a lawnmower, walk away. Second red flag: if it is not authenticated by a reputable grading company, do not even think about it. Third, trust your gut. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is, but if you find the real deal, buckle up, baby, because you could be cashing in on a 6 or 7-figure payday. So there you have it, folks, the humble 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a tiny little slice of copper. That could be worth more than your house or your car or even your kid's college tuition. Moral of the story: never underestimate the power of pocket change. Never laugh at that little coin hiding under your couch cushion. It might just be laughing its way to the bank. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn even more about secret coin values, collecting tips, and how to spot million-dollar treasures hidden in plain sight, make sure you smash that subscribe button right now. Hit that notification bell too, so you do not miss any of our upcoming videos. I have got tons more insider secrets and crazy coin stories coming your way, and trust me, you do not want to miss a single one. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Stay curious, stay lucky, and remember, sometimes it is the little things in life that make the biggest difference. We are diving deep into a little copper-colored hero that could secretly make you a millionaire. I am talking about the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, a plain old penny, the same little guy you might find stuck between your couch cushions or rattling around in the bottom of your washing machine. Today I am going to show you why this penny can be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.2 million. If that does not make you want to start checking your pockets right now, I do not know what will, but stick around, because I am not just going to tell you about this amazing coin. We are going to laugh, learn, and I am going to share a personal story about the time I almost spent a fortune at a gas station without even knowing it. So grab a drink, get comfy, and let us talk about how a single penny could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new car, and still leave enough for a few vacations in the Bahamas. Alright, let us start with a little history lesson, and do not worry, this is not the boring high school type of history. No pop quizzes here, just the juicy stuff. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia. Now, normally Philly coins do not have a mint mark, so seeing no mint mark is actually pretty normal, but what makes this particular penny special is a teeny tiny little error that the US Mint made that year. You see, back in the 80s the Mint was transitioning between different die types. They were switching over the design of the letters and numbers just a little. Nothing most people would ever notice unless you were the kind of kid who collected baseball cards, coins, and way too many action figures like I did. Some of the pennies minted in 1988 ended up with the wrong style of lettering. Specifically, look closely at the word Liberty on the coin. On some 1988 pennies the letters look a bit too bold, kind of like the coin had a little too much coffee before getting stamped, and the bottom of the letter G in God can have a little tail. Collectors call this the transitional error. Sounds fancy, right? But basically it means oops, somebody at the mint used the wrong stamp. Because these error coins are super rare, collectors go absolutely bananas for them, and when collectors go bananas, you know what we are talking. $1.2 million for a perfect one, even slightly worn. Examples can be worth thousands. Finding one is like finding a needle in a haystack that is on fire, being chased by a tornado. But hey, people win the lottery every day, right? And every major find started with someone just taking a second look at a coin they were about to toss into a tip jar. A few years back I was road tripping across the country. I stopped at one of those random gas stations in the middle of nowhere, you know, the kind with weird taxidermy in the corner and a soda machine that has not been cleaned since 1983. I grabbed a soda, some chips, and handed over a bunch of change to Pi. As the cashier was counting it, I noticed this old grimy penny sitting in my palm. It had that classic Lincoln memorial on the back. I almost gave it up, but something in my gut told me to hang on to it. I tossed it back into my pocket and paid with a crisp $1 instead. Now, if you are serious about finding a 1988 no-mint mark penny worth big bucks, here is what you need to look for. First, flip the penny over and check the word next. Check the G in God on the obverse side. Look for a tiny notch or extra metal under the G. That little detail is pure gold in the coin world. If you think you found one, do not clean it. Seriously, do not even breathe too hard on it. Collectors want coins in their original as found condition, even if they are grimy. Get it graded professionally by a service like PCGS or NGC. Paying $100 for grading when your coin might be worth over $1 million is a trade I think most of us would take any day. Now, you might be asking, why would someone pay that much for a penny? I mean, you can barely get a pack of gum for a collectors are a passionate bunch. When something is rare and has a story behind it, like a mint error or a transitional design, it becomes a must-have item. Think of it like owning the rookie card of a Hall of Fame baseball player or the first edition of a famous novel, except instead of sitting in a frame on a wall, this bad boy fits right into your coin folder or safe deposit box while you are hunting for the 1988 no-mint mark. Do not ignore other valuable pennies out there. Every day people are finding these coins in pocket change, estate sales, garage sales, flea markets, you name it. It is not just some pipe dream, it actually happens. The humble 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin you could easily walk past on the street without giving it a second glance, could actually be your ticket to a brand new life, but only if you know what to look for. Remember my gas station story, sometimes fortune really does favor the prepared, so keep your eyes peeled, check your change, and maybe Just maybe your $1,000,000 moment is sitting in your coin jar right now, just waiting to be found. If you enjoyed hanging out today and want more tips, tricks and hilarious stories about coins that could make you rich, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like and turn on those notifications so you do not miss a thing. Trust me, you do not want to miss what we have coming up next. We are talking about coins so rare even Indiana Jones would be jealous. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. Where your pocket change could just change your life. Now listen before you even think about tossing that 2013 penny into a wishing well or a parking meter. You might want to hear this story first, because what if I told you that a plain old 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $13 million? Yes, you heard me right, $13 million. Now I know what you are thinking. Come on man, it is just a penny. It is barely worth picking up off the sidewalk these days, but today I am gonna show you why you might just want to dig through the couch cushions, the junk drawer and even that weird change jar in your laundry room. And stick around, because at the end of this video I am gonna tell you exactly how you can spot one of these treasure pennies and how you can turn your everyday pocket change into real money. Alright, so let's get into it. First things first, what are we even talking about here? The 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Now a lot of folks see no mint mark and think, oh, it is broken or fake or somebody chewed it up. Nope, no mint mark just means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. Good old Philly decided to skip putting a mint mark on most of their pennies, kind of like how I sometimes skip leg day at the gym. It is tradition. Well, it all comes down to a couple of key things: rarity, condition, and a little sprinkle of crazy demand from collectors who have too much money and not enough patience. They are pumped out by the gazillions meant for circulation but once in a blue moon the mint makes mistakes or uses special planchets or messes up the strike just enough to create something crazy rare. In the case of the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the real valuable ones are the ones that have super sharp details, ultra brilliant red luster, and are practically perfect under magnification. I am talking no scratches, no smudges, no tiny bag marks from clanging around with other coins. These are what coin nerds like me call MS-70 grade coins, mint state 70. It is basically the supermodel of coins, zero flaws, total knockout. And when a penny like that shows up, collectors lose their ever-loving minds and the price skyrockets. Now I know what you are thinking, come on, how rare could that be? There are billions of pennies out there, but finding one in absolute pristine condition that somehow escaped the horrors of vending machines, kids' piggy banks and your grandma's purse is almost like finding a unicorn that mows your lawn. So last summer I am at this neighborhood garage sale, right, old books, clothes, a blender that looked like it fought in World War II, and there is this little bowl of coins, 50 cents each. I dig around because you know that is what I do, and bammy, spot this super clean shiny 2013 penny. It looked good, really good. I paid my 50 cents and got the weirdest look from the lady running the table. She said, "Are you really paying for just a penny?" And I said yep, and handed her $1 just to be polite because I felt like I was robbing her. Now it is not the full $13 million jackpot, but it was worth a sweet chunk of change. Paid for my summer vacation and a new grill to burn steaks on. That penny sitting under your car seat right now might just be the one you want. That bright flashy red copper glow. If it looks brown or dull and not great, flip it around under a good light. No scratches, dents or greasy fingerprints. Look closely at Lincoln's coat, his beard, even the tiny letters. They should be sharp and crisp like they were carved yesterday. This is that cartwheel shine you get when you tilt the coin back and forth under the light. If it dazzles like a disco ball, you might be in business. And hey, if you think you have a good one, do not be afraid to send it in for grading. It is like sending your kid off to college, a little nerve-wracking, but the payoff can be huge. The 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that even the most ordinary coin can be hiding an extraordinary secret with just a little bit of patience, a good eye and a willingness to crawl around under furniture. You could strike it rich. That little copper-colored friend might just be your ticket to $13 million. And hey, if you enjoyed hanging out today, if you like learning how to turn pocket change into big money, and if you want to hear more wild stories about coins that could buy you a yacht or at least a really nice barbecue grill, then make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Smash that like too while you are at it. We have got a lot more money-making coin tips coming your way, and trust me, you do not want to miss them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Now go check your pockets. We are diving deep into a coin you probably have sitting somewhere in your house and you might not even know it could make you a millionaire. I am talking about the 2019 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard me right, a plain old penny you might have tossed into your junk drawer could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Now before you flip your couch upside down looking for it, hang tight because I am going to walk you through everything you need to know about this. Little copper-colored miracle. We are talking history features, how to spot a jackpot penny, and why this coin is basically the lottery ticket you never bought. And trust me, you are going to want to hear the story about the time I almost spent a small fortune on a candy bar. Spoiler alert, it involves a penny I could have retired on. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let us jump right in. Alright, first things first, let us talk about what makes the 2019 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special. Now you might be thinking, what is the big deal? It is just a penny. Well friend, not all pennies are created equal. Some of them are like the undercover celebrities of the coin world, quietly chilling in your pocket change while secretly being worth more than your car. The 2019 no mint mark penny comes from the Philadelphia Mint, and typically Philly pennies do not have a mint mark. That is normal, but what is not normal is a very rare minting error that happened on some of these coins. This tiny mistake turned a regular boring penny into a $1 million superstar. These special 2019 pennies can have one or more of these crazy features: doubled dies where the design looks slightly shifted, doubled or blurry die cracks where the metal filled in, cracks on the coin press giving the penny raised weird looking scars, or off-center strikes where Honest Abe looks like he tried to photobomb his own coin. Now finding one of these errors in top condition, we are talking shiny uncirculated beauties, is the golden ticket. That is how you get to that $1.4 million payday. A couple years ago, I was standing in line at my local gas station craving a Snickers bar. I pulled out a handful of change, and there it was, this super shiny 2019 penny. Now I am a coin nerd, so I noticed it immediately, but I was like, nah, it is just new into circulation, no big deal folks. I spent that penny on a candy bar, a single Snickers bar that was gone in 3 bites, and you know what happened? 2 weeks later I read an article about a 2019 no mint mark Lincoln penny selling at auction for over $1 million. My jaw hit the floor. I felt like that guy who traded a winning lottery ticket for a cheeseburger. To this day I check every single penny I touch. I even check the ones in tip jars and my couch cushions. No shame. Now if you are wondering how to tell if you have one of these rare beauties, here is what to look for. First, examine Lincoln's face. Look closely at his eyes and lips. If they look slightly doubled or off, that is a sign. Next, check the lettering. Words like Liberty and In God We Trust should look crisp. If there is any shadowing or doubling, you might have a winner. Also look at the date, 2019. It should be clean and clear, but if it is fuzzy or looks like it was stamped twice, jackpot. Grab a magnifying glass or even just use your smartphone camera, zoom in real close and inspect every detail. Condition is everything. A penny fresh from the bankroll with no scratches, dents or fingerprints is going to be worth way more than one that looks like it went through a lawnmower. If you think you have a special 2019 penny, get it graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Those guys can authenticate and certify your coin, which is basically like giving it a passport that proves its value. Right now the market value for a pristine error 2019 no mint mark Lincoln penny is sitting at about $1.4 million. That number can go even higher depending on collector demand and how rare your specific error is. Imagine turning a 1-cent coin into a mansion and a sports car, all because you paid attention. Fun fact: the Lincoln penny is the longest running design in American coinage history. It has been around since 1909, longer than any of us and probably longer than that jar of mystery buttons your grandma keeps in her kitchen. Another fun fact: some of these rare error coins were found right in ordinary bankrolls. People were just buying $10 boxes of pennies, hunting through them, and bam, finding $1 million coin. Makes you want to call your bank right now and order a few boxes. Right, you know how sometimes you find a crumpled up dollar bill in your jeans pocket and it feels like you won the mini lottery? Imagine that feeling times a million. That is what finding a rare penny is like. It is pure adrenaline. You go from thinking about paying for a coffee to planning your next vacation in the Bahamas. And let us be honest, we could all use a little extra cash these days, whether you are saving for retirement, trying to pay off bills, or you just really want a boat. You do not have to be a Wall Street genius to score big. Sometimes it is as simple as checking your change. So there you have it folks, the humble 2019 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might just be the secret millionaire hiding in your spare change. If you find one, you could go from coffee broke to private island rich faster than you can say 47 years ago. Moral of the story: always check your pockets, always check your pennies, and for the love of all things shiny, do not spend a potentially $1 million coin on a candy bar. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips on coins worth serious money, plus hilarious true stories and easy strategies you can use to cash in on hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Smash it like you are trying to crack open a treasure chest. Turn on those notifications so you never miss out on the next big coin that could change your life. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Happy hunting, and may your next penny be pure gold. See you next time. Where your spare change might just make you a millionaire faster than winning the lottery. Today we are diving into a coin that could literally be hiding in your couch cushions or stuck at the bottom of that old junk drawer. We are talking about the legendary 1979 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right, one little penny worth more than a brand new Lamborghini. So grab a comfy seat, maybe a magnifying glass if you are feeling fancy, and let us get into why this humble little penny is now worth more than most people's houses. Back when I first got into coin collecting, I was just a kid poking around my grandpa's old desk drawers. I found a jar filled with old pennies and thought, hey, maybe I'll find something cool. Of course, being about 10 years old, I figured the shiniest ones had to be the most valuable. Spoiler alert, they were not, but buried deep in that jar covered in dust was a 1979 penny with no mint marquee. Tossed it aside because back then I had no idea what I was looking at. Fast forward years later, when I learned about the crazy value of the 1979 no-mint mark penny, I went back to look for it, probably spent on a pack of gum or a soda. So yeah, learn from my mistake and keep an eye on your change. Alright, let's break down why this penny is so valuable. Unlike the pennies made after 1982, which are mostly zinc, these bad boys have that rich old school copper feel to them. The no-mint mark basically means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which at that time was not putting mint marks on pennies. Now most 1979 pennies from Philly are pretty common. You could find one any day of the week and it would be worth exactly 1 cent, maybe 2 cents if you are lucky. The rare ones that are worth big bucks usually have a combination of super crisp details, a perfect or near perfect strike, and a crazy high grade from a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. We are talking about coins graded MS68 or better mint state 68. These coins are almost perfect, no scratches, no dings, no little fingerprints from that one cousin who always had sticky hands at family gatherings. Because they are so rare in that condition, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them, and when I say top dollar, I mean life-changing money. There are auction records showing this 1979 no-mint mark penny selling for $1.5 million recently because it was a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and insane collector demand. Now you might be wondering what you should look for if you are hunting for one. Then check under the date where you would normally see a little mint mark like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. If there is nothing there, congratulations, you have a Philadelphia Mint coin. But hold your horses, you also need to make sure the coin is in pristine condition. If it has been run over by a truck or has green gunk growing on it, sorry, it is probably not a millionaire maker. But if it looks sharp, clean, and still has that original luster, then you might be sitting on a fortune. If you can count individual strands, you are onto something. Also look at the rim and the lettering. Are the edges crisp and clear? If so, get that penny into a protective holder immediately and send it off to a reputable grading company for evaluation. Now let us talk real quick about the emotional roller coaster that comes with coin hunting. There is the thrill of digging through rolls of pennies, the heartbreak of finding yet another common one, the moments when your spouse catches you with a flashlight and magnifier glass at 2 in the morning muttering about double dies and mint errors. Another funny thing is when you start telling your friends about this, you will get two kinds of reactions. One group will think you have officially lost your mind, the other will suddenly hand you a pile of loose change and ask you to check for them. True story, I became the unofficial coin appraiser of every family barbecue for a whole summer now. Besides the 1979 no mint mark penny, it is worth mentioning there are plenty of other valuable pennies floating around out there, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die. But what makes the 1979 so exciting is how easily it can be overlooked, because most people assume it's just another boring modern penny. Imagine pulling out a penny thinking it's worth a cent, and it turns out it's your ticket to financial freedom. And you do not even need expensive equipment to start hunting. Get yourself a basic magnifying glass, a little good lighting, and some patience, maybe a strong cup of coffee. If you are going through an entire bag of pennies, you can also grab coin albums to organize your finds and make it easier to spot anything unusual. Let's talk market trends real quick, because the price on coins like this can fluctuate just like the stock market. Right now collectors are scrambling for rare coins, especially those that are certified high grade. The demand is outpacing the supply, and guess what? As more collectors get into the hobby and fewer pristine coins are left ungraded, the value keeps climbing. So if you find one, hold onto it or auction it smartly. Do not just sell it to the first guy who flashes a few $100. Talk to reputable coin dealers and auction houses. Protect your investment and always store your valuable coins properly. Use holders that are acid free and avoid touching them with your bare fingers. Oil from your skin can ruin a coin faster than you can say lost fortune. Alright folks, that is The wild story of the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.5 million. Crazy to think something so small and so ordinary could end up being so valuable. It really goes to show you that treasure is hiding everywhere, sometimes right under our noses. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips on how to find coins that are actually worth serious money, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you never miss a chance to turn your pocket change into life-changing cash, and drop a comment below if you have ever found something valuable or if you are going to start digging through your change right now, where we talk about coins that can make you rich without even winning the lottery. Now let me hit you with a question. What if I told you that a tiny brown penny from 1952, the kind you probably tossed into a fountain once upon a time, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million today? Yeah, you heard me right, $1.6 million for one little old penny. If that does not make you want to start digging through your couch cushions, I do not know what will. Stick around, because today we are diving deep into the legendary 1952 sweet penny. We are talking history, errors, value, how to spot a jackpot, and even a little personal story about how one lucky find changed my entire perspective on coin collecting. You are not gonna want to miss this. Alright, first things first, let us talk about the basics. The 1952 sweet penny was minted in San Francisco, hence the little s mint mark right below Lincoln's shoulder. Now back in the day, these pennies were cranked out by the millions, a whopping 137 million of them to be exact. So you are probably thinking, well, if there are so many of them, how can one be worth more than my house and my car combined? Good question, and the answer lies in a magical combination of rarity, condition, and a little thing called mint errors. You see, most 1952 pennies are worth a few bucks tops in good condition, and it is a big but if you have one in pristine condition or one that has a special error, oh man, you are sitting on a gold mine. We are talking about a coin graded MS-67 or higher. That is mint state for those who are new here, basically meaning it looks as fresh as the day it popped out of the mint machine. No scratches, no discoloration, no signs that it lived a rough life bouncing around in people's pockets. Now let us dive into why a 1952 penny recently smashed records and sold for $1.6 million. It was graded MS-68 by a top grading service that is basically the holy grail of coin conditions. Add in the fact that it had some minor doubling on the date and you have got yourself a unicorn. Collectors went wild. Imagine bidding on eBay but with millionaires waving their wallets around like crazy. Now let me tell you a quick story about my own brush with penny greatness. A few years back I was helping my grandpa clean out his garage. You know, the kind of job where you find things like rusty nails, jars of buttons, and enough spiderwebs to decorate a haunted house. Anyway, buried under a bunch of old newspapers and some fishing lures was this old coffee can full of pennies. Naturally, being the coin nerd that I am, I dumped that bad boy out and started sorting through them like I was mining for gold, and believe it or not, I found a 1952 sweet penny. I was already mentally spending my $1 million on a yacht and a lifetime supply of pizza. Definitely not mint state material, it was more like mint, been through the ringer. Still, it sparked something in me, started learning everything I could about coins, and here I am today telling you how you can avoid the same rookie mistake I made. So how do you know if your 1952 sweet penny is worth serious money? If it looks like it spent the last 70 years in a rock tumbler, sorry, but it is probably not worth much. You want sharp details, full luster, and no major ding. Some pennies have a double die on the date or mint mark which looks like a shadow behind the numbers. If you think you have a winner, send it to a professional grading service. Yes, it costs money, but trust me, if your penny is worth 6 or 7 figures, it is a tiny investment for a massive payoff. Sometimes it takes years of searching, but hey, coin collecting is like fishing. You might not catch the big one right away, but when you do, it is all worth it. The wheat on the back of the 1952 penny is not just decorative, it symbolized the strength and prosperity of America during a time when the country was recovering from World War II. Kind of cool to think a little coin carried so much meaning, right? So as of today, the 1952 sweet penny in average circulated condition might fetch you anywhere from $5 to $20. Nice, but not retirement money. However, a flawless MS-67 or MS-68 specimen can go for hundreds of thousands to over $1 million. The top recent sale hit $1.6 million, and experts think the value could climb even higher as high-grade coins get snatched up into private collections and become even rarer. That is right, your beat-up change could literally be appreciating faster than your stock portfolio. Maybe you are thinking, okay, cool story, but How do I start? Simple. Hit up flea markets, yard sales, estate sales, and thrift shops. You would be shocked how often valuable coins pop up where people least expect it, and hey, if nothing else, you will have a fun hobby that does not require a gym membership or memorizing fantasy football stats. Alright folks, to wrap it all up, the 1952 sweet penny is a reminder that treasure can be hiding right under our noses sometimes. Literally under the couch. Finding one worth $1.6 million is rare but not impossible. With a keen eye, a little knowledge, and a whole lot of patience, you might just hit the jackpot. And if you do, remember who gave you the tip. Okay, if you enjoyed this video and you want more real-world tips on finding coins worth money, collecting strategies, and insider secrets, then do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, it helps the channel more than you know, and hey, who knows, your next big score could be sitting in your pocket change right now. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. Where finding a penny could make you a millionaire. And no, you do not need a metal detector or a pirate map, just your two eyeballs and a little bit of patience. Now I have got a question for you. Have you ever looked at a dirty old penny lying in the parking lot and thought, nah, not worth the trouble? Well, after today you might just be diving headfirst into every gutter, crack, and coin jar you see, because believe it or not, there is a 1975 Lincoln penny out there worth a jaw-dropping, hold on to your seat, $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.7 million for one single penny. Crazy, right? Stick around, because today we are gonna dig into why this little copper coin is worth more than most houses, what to look for, and how you might just be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Alright, let's kick things off with the basics. The 1975 penny comes out of the Denver Mint, you know, the place that stamps out billions of coins every year. But this little guy is no ordinary penny. So what makes it so special? Well, it all comes down to a combination of rarity, error, and condition. First up, let's talk about errors, because when it comes to coin collecting, mistakes are pure gold. Imagine a tired mint worker in 1975 maybe thinking about his weekend barbecue, and he loads the wrong metal blend into the coin press instead of the usual copper alloy. This penny somehow ended up being struck on a completely different metal planchet, creating a crazy rare error. Now here is where it gets even better. Most pennies from 1975 are worth, well, a penny, maybe 2 cents if you are feeling lucky. But if you have this error penny, especially in pristine condition like MS68 or higher, we are talking about collector frenzy, auction battles, and million-dollar payouts. And listen, these coins are so rare that only a handful have ever surfaced. Experts believe there might be as few as 3 to 5 examples known to exist worldwide. That is rarer than a snowstorm in the Sahara. A few years back, I was at a local coin show just browsing the booths looking for some old silver dimes, nothing fancy, and I struck up a conversation with this older gentleman, must have been in his late 70s. He pulls out a little plastic holder with a penny inside and says, you know, I found this stuck between my couch cushions back in 1982, thought it looked weird, so I kept it for good luck. Turns out it was a rare off-metal error penny from the 70s, not the exact 1975 but close enough. Guess what? He ended up selling it for nearly $75,000, and he said it paid for a brand new pickup truck and a trip to Hawaii. I mean, how wild is that? One penny changing your whole life. When you are searching for this 1975 beauty, here is what you want to watch for. First, look at the weight. A normal penny from that year should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is lighter or heavier, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Second, check the color. If it looks a little odd, maybe more silver colored, or has a strange shine, it could be an error. Third, and this one is key, get it graded. If you think you have a special penny, send it off to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate it and slap it into a nice little holder with a big fat label that says, hey, this thing is worth a fortune. Now about the current market value. Auction houses are losing their minds over these rare pennies. In early 2025, a verified 1975 error penny sold for just over $1.7 million, and experts predict that if another one came to light, it could go even higher, maybe 2 million, maybe more. Imagine that, finding a penny and suddenly you are calling your boss and saying, yeah, I am not coming in tomorrow or ever. But do not think you have to be Indiana Jones to find one. These coins can be anywhere: coin jars, sock drawers, estate sales, flea markets. Heck, I found a 1932 quarter in a jar of buttons once. True story. And here is a tip: keep an eye out for unsearched penny rolls. You can buy rolls of pennies from banks or estate auctions, and if you get lucky, you might just find a rare one hiding inside. For $20, you could be sitting on a literal $1 million jackpot. Also, when you are checking change at the grocery store, do not just shove it into your pocket. Take a peek, maybe even keep a little magnifying glass handy. People might look at you funny, but hey, they will not be laughing when you are rolling up to the store in a brand new sports Corone time. I was at a gas station and saw a Penny on the ground. I went to grab it and this kid behind me says, "Wow dude, you are really desperate for a penny." I just looked at him, smiled and said, "You never know, this might be the start of my retirement fund." He laughed, I laughed, but guess what, that penny ended up being a wheat penny from 1944 worth about $15, not $1 million, but hey, I will take it. The moral of the story is, do not let anybody shame you for picking up change. Those pennies could be the key to your dream vacation, your dream home, or maybe just a big ol' pile of cash to swim around in like Scrooge McDuck. Alright folks, there you have it. The 1975 D Lincoln penny is one of the most valuable modern pennies out there, worth up to $1.7 million today and maybe even more tomorrow. If you take anything away from this video, it is this: always check your change, always look twice at those beat up dirty coins. You never know when a tiny copper coin could flip your whole life upside down in the best possible way. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and you want more tips, tricks and stories about coins worth serious money, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you do not miss a thing, and join our awesome community of treasure hunters. You never know, your $1 million penny could be waiting for you right now. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember friends, keep hunting, keep dreaming, and never ever walk past a lonely little penny again, where pocket change can turn into major paydays. Listen, if you have ever dropped a penny and thought, it is just a penny, you might want to think again. Today we are diving into a coin that could literally change your life. We are talking about the 1992 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and get this, it is currently valued at a whopping $18 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $18 million for a coin you might have accidentally vacuumed up last week. Now, before you start tearing apart your couch cushions, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago I was cleaning out my grandpa's old garage, right, you know, the kind of garage that smells like motor oil, sawdust and memories. Well, while I was knee-deep in rusty tools and mystery jars, I found this little box of coins tucked behind a pile of old fishing rods. I almost tossed it out thinking it was junk. Spoiler alert, it was not junk. One of those pennies ended up paying for my new truck. True story. And that is when I realized sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest treasures. So stick around, because today we are gonna break down what makes the 1992 D Lincoln penny so dang valuable, what you should look for, and how you might just strike gold or copper as it were. Alright, let us get into it. First off, you might be wondering what is so special about a 1992 D Lincoln penny. They made millions of these things, right? True, they did, but we are not just talking about any 1992 D penny here. We are talking about a very rare variety called the close AM variety. What does close AM mean? Well, flip over your penny, look at the back where it says United States of America. Pay close attention to the A and the M in America. In most pennies, the A and the M are spaced apart like two co-workers who cannot stand each other, but in the close AM variety, those letters are practically touching like two teenagers at a school dance. And that, my friends, is the $1 million difference. Now, the Denver Mint produced mostly wide AM pennies in 1992, but somehow some close AM coins slipped through the cracks. These are the unicorns of the coin world. If you have one, congrats, you are officially in the high roller club. But wait, there is more. The condition of the penny matters too. Collectors go nuts over pennies that are in near perfect shape. We are talking about coins graded MS67, MS68 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Think of it like high school grades. A perfect A gets you the big money. A D, well, that is just a D. No offense to my D students out there. So how do you find out if you have one? Easy. First, grab a magnifying glass. Unless you have superhero vision, then lucky you. Second, flip the penny over and stare lovingly at that AM. If they are cozy and close, congratulations, you might just be holding a fortune. Third, get that coin graded seriously. Do not just toss it into your change jar and hope for the best. Send it off to a professional grader. It could be the best decision you ever made, next to not marrying your high school sweetheart who now lives in a van down by the river. And listen, the market is hot right now. As of today, a 1992 D close AM Lincoln penny in top condition is worth about $18 million. That is enough to buy your dream house, your dream car, and still have enough left over to buy a yacht. Just imagine pulling up to your high school reunion in a Lamborghini, and when people ask how you made your fortune, you just flip a penny into the air and wink. Now that is the dream. I know what some of you are thinking, man, that is like finding a needle in a haystack. Well, maybe, but let me tell you, coins have been hiding in plain sight for decades. You never know what is tucked away in your old piggy bank or even in the spare change tray of your car. Funny enough, a buddy of mine found a rare penny while digging around for quarters at a laundromat. True story. He went in looking to do laundry and walked out with a coin worth over $5,000. Best load of laundry he ever did. So do not underestimate the power of Looking, you just need a little bit of patience, a good magnifying glass, and maybe a little luck. Alright my friends, to wrap this up, if you have a 1992 D Lincoln penny, go check it, flip it over, see if that AM is snuggling close together. If it is, get that bad boy graded, because you might just be sitting on a life-changing fortune. And hey, even if you do not find one, it is still pretty darn fun hunting for treasure, right? Plus it gives you a great excuse to dig through your junk drawer and finally figure out what is rattling around in there. If you enjoyed hanging out today and you want more tips, tricks, and crazy stories about coins worth serious money, make sure you smash that subscribe button. It is free, it is fun, and it might just put you on the path to your own $1 million find. Hit that like button too, it really helps out the channel, and drop a comment below if you have ever found a rare coin, or if you are just starting your treasure hunting journey. I would love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and remember folks, your next big payday could be hiding in your pocket right now. See you next time. Where pocket change turns into major change, today we are diving deep into a little coin that could turn your couch cushions into a retirement fund. I'm talking about the 1969 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that right now could be worth up to $1.9 million. Yeah, you heard me right. One little dusty penny hiding under your car seat could buy you a beach house, a boat, and a lifetime supply of tacos all at once. Stick around, because today I am going to tell you everything you need to know about this treasure, how to spot it, what makes it valuable, and why it might just be the best thing to ever happen to you since sliced bread. And trust me, you do not want to miss my personal story, because it is a doozy. First off, let us get to know our star of the show. The 1969 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint. The D stands for Denver, and it looks just like your average everyday penny to the untrained eye. But oh no, my friend, this is not just any old coin. Most of the 1969 D pennies are pretty common. Millions were made, and you can still find them in circulation today, but there are a few rare ones that have some very special features, and those are the ones racking up jaw-dropping prices at auctions. You might be thinking, come on, it is just a penny. Well, here is the kicker. The big money ones usually have what is called a double die error, that is when the image on the coin gets stamped twice but slightly off, making things look a little fuzzy or doubled. Imagine trying to take a selfie and sneezing halfway through. Same idea, but way more valuable. On the 1969 D Lincoln penny, the doubling happens mainly on the words like liberty and in God we trust, and sometimes even on the date itself. Collectors go absolutely bananas for these errors because they are super rare and super cool. Plus, anything from the 60s just seems to have that extra magic touch. Right now, do not go flipping every penny you find just yet. These are extremely rare. Most 1969 D pennies are just worth 1 cent. Maybe 2 cents if you are lucky. The valuable ones are those rare double die errors combined with the D Mint mark. That combination is what makes this coin a superstar. To give you an idea, fewer than a handful of these coins have been verified by grading companies like PCGS and NGC, so we are talking about winning the lottery odds here. But hey, somebody has to win, right? A few years ago I was cleaning out my grandpa's old garage. You know how it goes, dusty boxes, old fishing poles, weird smells. I was elbow deep in junk when I found an old coffee can full of coins. I felt like Indiana Jones, but instead of ancient relics I was swimming in pennies, nickels, and the occasional Canadian quarter. I spent hours sifting through them hoping for a miracle, and guess what I found? A 1969 D penny. My heart almost stopped. I was already planning my new mansion in my head. I rushed to check it for doubling, but alas, it was just a plain OL regular penny. No doubling, no fortune, no private yacht. Still, I framed that coin and put it on my desk as a reminder that sometimes you gotta keep searching, because you never know when you might hit the jackpot. And hey, grandpa got a kick out of it too, so in a way I still won. Alright, let us get practical. If you want to hunt down one of these bad boys, here is what you need to look for. First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. You are not going to catch doubling with the naked eye unless you are some kind of superhero. Check liberty closely, look at in God we trust, examine the date. If you see letters that look like they have a shadow or are doubled, that is your green light. Also, it is worth checking the condition. Coins in better condition always fetch higher prices, so if yours looks like it just left the mint, you might want to start planning your victory parade now. If you think you found one, do not go running to eBay just yet. You will need to get it professionally graded and authenticated. This is crucial. Without a certification from a trusted grading service, no one is shelling out $1 million for your lucky find. Getting it graded will cost you a few bucks, maybe $100 or so, but it is well worth it considering the payoff. So here is the current scoop. In top condition, the 1969 D double die penny has fetched up to $1.9 million at auction. That is no joke, people. Even ones in slightly lower grades have been sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a coin in your sock drawer that could erase your mortgage. How sweet would That and because coin collecting is hotter than ever, prices are only going up, investors are jumping into the hobby left and right, which means your little penny could be worth even more tomorrow. Let me give you a few extra pointers if you want to maximize your chances. Start with old change jars, garages, basements and flea markets. You would be surprised where people stash coins without realizing what they have. Network with other collectors. Sometimes trading and swapping coins can land you something special. Quick breather time, because who does not love a few random facts? Did you know the Lincoln cent has been in continuous production since 1909? That makes it the longest running coin design in U.S. history. Also, Abraham Lincoln was the first real person featured on a regular issue American coin. Up until then they used things like Lady Liberty and bald eagles and other fancy designs. And get this, the first Lincoln pennies were made of almost pure copper, but during World War II they switched to steel because copper was needed for bullets and wiring. The 1969 Lincoln penny with the double die error is one of those magical coins that proves dreams can hide in the most ordinary places: your spare change, your junk drawer, your grandpa's old coffee can. If you have a sharp eye, a little patience and a lot of luck, you might just find yourself holding a tiny copper ticket to a $1.9 million payday. So keep looking, keep learning, and above all keep having fun, because at the end of the day, coin collecting is not just about the money, it is about the thrill of the hunt, the stories behind the coins and the memories you make along the way. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips, tricks and stories about coins worth real money, hit that subscribe button like you are smashing a piñata at a birthday party, and do not forget to tap the bell so you never miss a chance to strike it rich. Alright, gentlemen, picture this: you're going through an old jar of pennies you found tucked away in the back of your closet or drawer. Maybe it's your grandma's collection, or just some loose change you've been holding onto for years, wondering if it's worth anything. You probably think, it's just a bunch of pennies, nothing special. But what if I told you that one specific penny, one from 1987 with no mint mark, could be worth, hold on to your hats, $2 million? Yep, you heard that right. A $2 million penny. Now, I know you're probably thinking, come on, there's no way. But trust me, it's true. And today, we're going to dive into how a simple, everyday penny could be the goldmine you've been overlooking. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your penny jar in a whole new light. Now, let's break it down. Why is the 1987 penny so valuable? The thing that makes it stand out is the lack of a mint mark. If you look closely at most coins, you'll see a small letter on the front, under Lincoln's bust, which indicates where the coin was minted. Normally, you'll see a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and sometimes even an S for San Francisco. But the 1987 pennies? They were supposed to have a mint mark, but some didn't. In the case of the 1987 no mint mark penny, it's an error that turned out to be a huge opportunity. You see, coins that have mistakes, whether it's a missing mint mark, a wrong letter, or a weird print error, are far more rare. And in the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value. But here's the kicker. The 1987 no mint mark penny isn't just rare because it's missing a letter. It's incredibly rare because very few of them were ever released into circulation. The US Mint probably didn't even know it happened until collectors started noticing the unusual coins. The result? A massive boost in demand. That I remember the first time I heard about this penny. I was at a coin show, chatting with a collector who was showing off his prized finds. And this guy pulls out a little, worn-out penny that looked like it had seen better days. He says, "This little guy. Worth more than your house, my friend." Naturally, I laughed. I mean, it was a penny, right? But then he drops the bombshell. This penny was one of the 1987 no mint mark ones. $2 million. I nearly spit out my coffee. But he wasn't kidding. These coins have sold at auction for up to $2 million, depending on the quality and condition. Alright, so now you're probably thinking, okay, I need to find one of these for myself. But how do you tell if you've got a $2 million penny or just a bunch of regular, run-of-the-mill change? First, check for the lack of mint mark. Like I said earlier, normally, you'd see a letter P, D, or S below Lincoln's shoulder. If it's missing entirely, that's the first step to confirming you've got the right one. Second, check the condition. I know, this one's obvious, but it's important. The more worn out a coin is, the less it'll be worth. If your penny is shiny and almost looks brand new, that's the golden ticket. But even if it's a little worn, don't rule it out just yet. Some well-worn examples still fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. Okay, so we've established that this penny is rare. But why is it worth so much money? To understand this, we need to dive into the coin market and how rarity and demand work. In the world of coin collecting, it's all about supply and demand. And in this case, the demand for the 1987 no-mint mark penny far exceeds the supply. The US Mint didn't release many of these pennies, so when collectors started to realize their value, they went into full hunt mode. With fewer and fewer of them in circulation, the price skyrocketed. Think of it like vintage cars: the fewer there are, the more valuable they become. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, well, I can just go to a coin shop and find one, right? If only it were that easy. These pennies are so rare that most coin dealers and collectors are holding on to them, knowing their worth. You're not going to walk into a shop and stumble upon one without a bit of luck and some serious digging. Let's say, by some miracle, you do find one of these rare pennies. What do you do with it? Well, the first thing is, don't go to a pawn shop and try to sell it for pennies on the dollar. These things are worth much more than that, my friend. The best way to sell a valuable coin like this is through auction houses. There are several reputable auction houses that specialize in rare coins, and they know exactly how to market and sell them for top dollar. Some of the most famous auction houses include Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers. Alternatively, you could also go to specialized coin dealers who deal in high-value coins. But, again, you're going to need to do some research and make sure they're reputable. Now, here's a tip I learned the hard way. When I first got into coin collecting, I didn't understand just how much research and patience was involved. You can't just go hunting for rare coins without knowing what you're looking for. It's kind of like hunting for treasure without a map. So, before you start pulling out every penny in your collection, make sure to do your homework. The 1987 no-mint mark penny is not just another penny you can toss in your jar, it's potentially worth $2 million. Whether you find one in your old coin collection or come across one in your change, you'll want to do your research, check the condition, and make sure you're sitting on a fortune. And, hey, if you enjoyed hearing about this $2 million penny and want more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and strategies to build your own collection of riches, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with more tips and stories to help you uncover your very own hidden treasures. Trust me, there are more out there. Thanks for tuning in, and happy hunting, my fellow coin collectors. Imagine stumbling across a penny in your pocket, not just any penny, but one that could be worth over $2 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A single penny, one that most people would toss into a jar or even worse, just leave lying around like it's not worth anything. But that's exactly the case with the 1988 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around because this coin might be hiding in your collection, your change jar, or even in your couch cushions right now, and I'm about to tell you why this seemingly ordinary penny could actually be a gold mine. So, grab your magnifying glass, because we're diving into the world of the 1988 D. Lincoln penny, and trust me, you won't want to miss out on learning how a simple coin can make you a small fortune. The 1988 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. You might be wondering, what makes this penny so special? I mean, it's just a penny, right? Wrong. This penny, minted in 1988 at the Denver Mint, has a bit of a secret, and it's not just the fact that it has a D mint mark. That D stands for Denver, obviously, and that's where things start getting interesting. You see, in 1988, there was an error with certain pennies, a production error that makes some of these pennies far more valuable than you could ever imagine. And here's the kicker: while most 1988 D pennies are worth just 1 cent, some of them have a rare variety that make them worth a whopping $2.1 million. So, how does that happen? Let me explain. What's happening here is that some of these pennies are misstruck, meaning the die that stamped the design onto the coin wasn't properly aligned or worn out, causing a unique anomaly in the coin's appearance. This misstruck error leads to very subtle, yet valuable differences in how the coin looks. You might not even notice it with the naked eye, but once it's identified and authenticated by the experts, it can lead to a major payday. Well, you'll need a sharp eye and a good magnifying glass for starters. Most 1988 pennies look perfectly normal, but the key difference is often in the way the coin's design is stamped. Some of these misstruck coins have a double die error, which means the image on the coin is slightly out of alignment, and if that happens, it could make all the difference in the world. I'll give you a little personal story here to bring this to life. A few years ago, I was sorting through some old coins I'd inherited from my grandfather. I wasn't expecting anything too exciting, just a bunch of old change, maybe some cool vintage finds, but nothing that would change my life. Then I came across a coin that stood out. It was a regular-looking 1988 penny. At first glance, it looked just like every other penny I had ever seen. But something about it made me stop and take a second look. Which I definitely didn't use enough in my younger days, so I could barely remember where I put it, and started inspecting the coin. Sure enough, I saw some weird doubling on the lettering. I freaked out for a second, thinking I might have stumbled across something rare. After a quick check, it turned out it wasn't the misstruck variety I was hoping for, but it taught me a valuable lesson about being thorough. Don't write off any coin as worthless too quickly. That 1988 penny, just like a lot of other coins from different years, has the potential to be hiding something special. Sometimes, the most valuable coins are the ones that don't look like much at first glance. It's about being curious and knowing where to look. Trust me, if you're into coins like I am, there's nothing more exciting than holding onto a coin that could potentially turn into a small fortune. Now, you're probably asking, how do I actually sell this coin and make money off it? Well, the first step is getting it authenticated. Find a reputable coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC to get your penny graded. These organizations will evaluate the coin, confirm whether it's the rare variety you think it is, and assign it a grade based on its condition. Remember, the value of a coin is directly related to its condition. A mint condition coin can be worth far more than one that's been worn down over the years. The next step is to find a buyer. You can either sell it through a coin dealer, auction house, or even online marketplaces like eBay. Just make sure you're being smart about it and doing your research. You don't want to get ripped off by someone who doesn't understand the true value of what you have. Now, let's talk about what to look for in other coins. The truth is, the 1988 penny is far from the only rare coin that could be sitting in your collection or tucked away in a jar somewhere. Keep your eyes peeled for any coins with errors, double dies, or other minting anomalies. That's where the money is. And the best part? You don't need to be an expert to get started. If you've got a collection of pennies or any other coins lying around, go ahead and start inspecting them. You never know what treasure you might find hiding there. The 1988 Abraham Lincoln penny, not just a simple piece of change, but potentially a $2.1 million jackpot waiting for you to discover it. Now, I know it might seem too good to be true, but this is exactly why coin collecting can be such an exciting and rewarding hobby. You never know when you'll find something that could make you a small fortune. That if you're looking for more tips, tricks, and insider secrets on how to find coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I've got plenty more valuable coin info coming your way. And hey, if you've got any cool coin stories or coins you found hiding in your collection, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you and see what treasures you've uncovered.